Hi there, John Wilkinson, History Made Easier. IGCSE students, if you get a question on the League of Nations, it might well ask you to consider the reasons why the 1930s were so different to the 1920s, why the League failed so badly in the 1930s. You might also get a question on Manchuria, disarmament, or Abyssinia. In either case, I think context plays an important role. It takes center ground in a question generally on why the League failed in the 30s. But it's also important context to an answer on Manchuria, disarmament, or Abyssinia. So the context is the focus of this little talk. The context, of course, for the 1930s is dominated by the Great Depression. The Great Depression changed so much. It leads to the rise of authoritarian states, not so much in Italy. Mussolini is already there, but it will make Italy more nationalistic. But it undoubtedly explains the rise of Hitler in Germany. And it also explains the increased nationalism and militarism in Japan. So the Great Depression is absolutely fundamentally important in this. And it's that increase in nationalism and militarism that we see in Japan, we see in Italy, and we see in Nazi Germany that changes the ball game. It really, really does. Because essentially the League of Nations is set up to deal with democratic states. It's there to coordinate world policies. It's there to encourage cooperation. It's there to encourage and enable collective security. This doesn't work in a world of single-party, authoritarian, militaristic, nationalistic states. It just doesn't work. So we look forward into the context of the 1930s, but we should also look back to the context in which the League was founded. Those issues are still there. The dissatisfaction with the Paris peace treaties is still there. The fact that Britain and France are reluctant leaders of the League is still there, and even more so because now Britain and France are more concerned with dealing with the Great Depression, getting jobs back for their people. Likewise with America, the America that wanted nothing to do with the League, wanted to get back to normalcy, the business of making money. Well, America is even more in that way of thinking come the Great Depression in the 1930s. America is even more isolationist. It's taking care of itself. And so I think if we project forward and look at the effects of the Great Depression, but also look back and consider the the circumstance, the context in which the League was founded, we see that the two come together and help us, I think, a lot in any explanation for why the League failed generally in the 1930s, and specifically with Manchuria, with disarmament, with Abyssinia. So I hope that was useful for you. As always, I thank you for listening, and as always, I remind you of my website, History Made Easier. Cheers.